Welcome to Tate Sports Office, an in-depth look at the world of sports, featuring exclusive interviews with our KRQE News Sports Director, Van Tate, sponsored by Caesars Sportsbook at Route 66 Casino.
Sports Office, we're talking about running, and we're running, and we're running, and we're running. Megan Eckert here. Eckert, did I say that right? Megan Eckert. She's an ultra marathon runner, and what that means is past 29 miles, so you can forget about that. That's small change. She is not only an ultra marathon runner, she is a record holder in ultra marathon, and you guys are crazy. You run it. I mean, your last race, 603 miles. I mean, over a 6-day period, right?
Correct. Yes, 144 hours.
What? I mean, how do you do that? Like, I don't get it, man. If I ran if I ran a marathon, I'm like at home for like a month, like being attended to around the clock. I mean, 600 miles in 6 days. Is that what is it like mentally?
Mentally, I went into it with a goal. I had trained for that goal. I had been focused on that goal for probably a year and a half, right? So I had set that goal. I'd done many goals in between, and then you look at it and you go, okay, well, what do I need to do to get there? And sometimes it seems so far away.
I'm just trying to think about the mentals that you need for that. Are you ever like at maybe mile number 50 and you're going like, man, I'm not feeling it today, Yes. What do you do? Like, what do you do if that happens?
So in these crazy ultra distances, you have crew. You have people there that kind of remind you that you're doing fine, even if you think you're not. And there are ups and downs in any ultra at any distance or any race in general.
I would totally crash out. There's just no way. Like we start getting past, like I would probably start thinking too much. Okay, we're past the marathon now. We're past that. You should stop. Maybe you should stop. But like when you're into it, does it get the more races you do, does it get easier and easier or what?
It does. I still remember my first half marathon, and I remember hobbling afterwards, barely being able to walk and just being really sore. And then you do another, and it's not quite as tough. And then you do another, and your body starts to condition itself.
This sounds like
an
addiction right here.
Yeah, and then it goes longer, and then a little longer.
I just want another hit of that running.
Exactly. Yeah. And it is. I mean, it does get to a point where you want to go run.
Man, I just can't wrap my brain around that. Like I was talking to somebody about, because I'll run just to keep a little shape going, and I was talking to somebody about running. Like, I'll probably go do a mile and a half at like 3/4 speed, and they're like, the only time I'm running if somebody's chasing me. That's what this person said to me. So running it messes with everybody. So talk about the 6 days of France. Like your latest triumph. When you crossed and finished the race, did you realize that you had a world record, or was that something that was told to you and you're like, oh, okay, this is even better?
I did realize it. So the previous world record was 563.7 miles, I believe. I might be a little off there. I know, incredible. But I had hit that point about 10 hours before the end of the race, so about 134 hours in. And they had given me the American flag to run that lap with, which was just an incredible experience. So by the end of the race, when I had racked up some more miles, I did realized that I had hit that world record.
Right. And so once you realized you hit that world record, or you were just saying like, well, I want to put as much distance as possible, so my world record can be here for a minute.
Yeah, most definitely. And I also have a good friend who got me in to these 6-day events. His name is Joe Fias, and he has 606 miles in modern day, and he holds the current modern American record, though there has been people to go further. And so I was chasing him.
Okay.
I was chasing him. I knew exactly. It was a friendly competition.
Talk about this competition. You said that you have people around you encouraging you as you're going and stuff like that. What do you do? Have you ever been in a crisis where you're like, oh, I can't do it? I'm just like, and you're just, like I said, crashing out. Has that ever happened to you?
Not that I can think of in my mind. I'm very good with problem solving, and I do have a good crew who kind of keeps me on track, who says, hey, you're still on pace, you're still looking good. So I think that constant positive reinforcement in sports, hey, you're doing fine, you're doing great, like just keep going, is really beneficial.
I would think it would be a lot of challenges, like even the terrain. Like you get to one part and you're like, oh man, oh no, that doesn't even look good to run on. And you're already tired and you're like, oh, come on.
Oh yeah. And this particular race was an asphalt track, or course. I shouldn't say track. It wasn't a looped oval, but it had speed humps, which aren't really bad until you get later on in the race and they start feeling like hills and something you might trip on.
Yeah. So how do you go into a place in your mind where because I think about like, like even playing football, and there's some days when you can hardly move and you got 2 practices, you got another practice and you're just like, how am I going to do this? But once you get out there, you're just thinking about now. Is that how you do it? Like I'm just thinking about now. I want to I got to get to that flower down there. I see, okay, and then I'll think about the next road or whatever. Do you have to do that?
Very much the same. I mean, you go into this tunnel vision where this path is the only thing that exists for you. Even at one point during the race, a friend went to the store and I'm going, oh, stores exist, because you're in this mode where this is your only existence for that amount of time. I think training has a lot to do with it. I do a lot of multi-day stuff where I'm doing 2 or 3 runs a day. And like you're talking about, you don't want to do the second one or you don't want to do the third one, you're sore. But you go out and do it anyways. Yeah. And so I think the training plays a big part in being able to continue in these multi-day events.
And well, how do you keep your mind, like even off of food or something? You'd be like, man, I could go for a good burger right now. I got 100 more miles to go. Like that doesn't sound good.
Your system gets really odd. You would think you would be starving. You're not. I have a very hard time eating. That's something that's a challenge.
Oh, wow.
Your system kind of just goes in like this default just run mode for me personally. And my crew is, they're a resource for me. They're a have to remember to eat. Because they'll come out and they'll be like, you haven't ate in an hour. Here's something for you because your body just slows down.
Well, that's good that they have people like to be alongside you and keep it safe,
Yes.
What about water? I mean, do you ever, water was just like, man, that's the best water I ever had in my life? Does it get to that point where you have some water after a long day and it's just like, oh, it's so good? Oh,
it does. And then it flips to the other side where it's like, water is so plain. I don't want any water. Like, let's add some flavoring to this. Let's do.
The conversation is just getting started. We have more on the other side. I just can't imagine doing that. And you got started late, right? You were like this massive athlete in school, right? Or did you just start running late?
Oh, I started running real late. I didn't run in high school, didn't run in college. I started running when I was 29.
What brought that about?
It was a healthy habit. I needed a healthy change. Yeah. And so I started doing like a couple miles every other day. And like we said, it escalated rather quickly.
Yeah, it did.
Went a little extreme, but
So you're like, did you run like with a group of other women? Like, did you have like running buddies? And then they said, they were like, oh, we're gonna go ahead and check out. And you're like, oh, you know what I mean? You just kept going. Ultramarathon,
No, I still have a great group of women and men around me that co-sign all of this and say, what are you signing up for next? I want to come hang out. Wow. So, or vice versa. I have friends who are out running and they're like, can you come support and crew me? Can you be a part of my race? And so I still have people who are going, let's go.
That's crazy. And then what has been like the as far as people sticking with you and running like that? Has any of them decided to be ultramarathon runners?
I don't know if it's so much they decided as we kind of found each other and they were already ultra marathoners.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And tell people what you do, like you are a teacher, and tell people like what do you do and how do you like your job and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm a special education teacher. I am a cross-country coach and an assistant track coach. And I've been doing what I do for 16 years. I started coaching 4 years ago. And I absolutely love teaching. It's an incredible profession where you're making a difference every day.
You don't ever have students, like when you're coaching cross-country, like, oh, I could run you under the table. It's like you don't have people challenging you.
I am a distance runner. I don't have the speed. So when I go run with them, I have some speed, I should say, but I'm not extremely fast. And so they'll leave me in the dust sometimes, and that's okay.
Yeah, but they could get to the end of their running, and then you'd be like, oh, hey, I'm still going, because you're that distance runner. I can't even fathom like running all of that time. What's been the most challenging race that you've had doing the ultra marathons? What was the most challenging, and why was it the most challenging?
Oh gosh, I think probably the most challenging I had was a mountain race I did in El Paso, Texas, and it was in Franklin Mountain State Park, and it was exposed, and you climbed to North Franklin Peak. And it was windy and cold and then super hot. And it was the weather conditions were tough. And physically it was a challenge, lots of climbing, lots of rocky terrain. Got it done, but it was a very challenging, very mental race.
Well, how much does weather conditions factor as far as making the race like super hard, or maybe you like it, like, oh, the sun has gone down, I got a little shower going, a little rain, like you might like it. I mean, what's your preference?
I like the challenges because it makes it less mundane, because you're having to troubleshoot. Anytime any of these weather conditions come up, the terrain changes or whatever, you're having to prepare for that. So if it's wet, you're trying to prevent blisters or trying to keep yourself warm. So instead of just running, you're also problem solving. I like that aspect of
you like
running.
the problem solve because it makes it easier the next time.
Yeah.
Well, what do your knees feel like after running over 600 miles?
The knees don't give me an issue. Knees, luckily, knock on wood, have not given me any issues. Usually, for me, it's my hips and my hip flexors that are very tired for a few weeks after.
Hips don't lie, you know that, right?
Yeah, they don't lie. They let me know what I've done.
Yeah. So you got this going on. When you got the soreness and stuff like that, that's probably gets super mental, because, I mean, and then I know just from experience that you can push through that and you forget that you're sore.
Yes.
You've had, you know what I mean? Like
I know.
So you've had that, and how long have you gone after that? Like where you forgot where you were sore and you ran all these miles. And as a matter of fact, it actually goes away after a certain amount of time, It does.
It's this odd thing where the soreness becomes a strength.
Yeah.
I don't understand how it happens. I don't question it. But it definitely happened in France where day 2 I'm sore, and all of a sudden I'm not sore. It's a strength. I'm pushing through it. It's really odd.
I've done that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Stay with us. More conversation on the other side.
We'll get back to the episode in a moment. Monica Wicki here, host of New Mexico Living. I wanted to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Route 66 Casino and Caesars Sportsbook. If you love sports and like having a little action on the game, Caesars Sportsbook is your go-to destination. For rewards and more info, go to Route66Casino.com. Now back to the episode.
I know I was joking about a burger earlier. What is, you said it's hard to eat. You've never finished a race and just feel like I can eat the world right now. You've never felt like super hungry?
I have. Yes, it really depended on the race. If it's very hot, that's not going to be my go-to. But I have had races where I'm like, okay, we're going to the nearest taco truck and we're getting a whole plate of tacos.
Wow. Have you ever had an epic performance at the table? Like you just had this massive race and you have 14 tacos, you know?
My first 50 miler, they had a breakfast buffet at this camp.
Oh,
they had pancakes,
show
and
up
eggs,
and show out.
Bacon. Oh, it was nonstop. I think we sat there talking and eating for an hour and a half.
Oh man, you were just taking in the food like.
Yes.
But that actually almost feels like if that feels good too. You know, like when you've really exerted yourself really heavily and then you're just eating and chilling.
Yeah. And you're already in a huge calorie deficit, whether it be a 50 miler or whether it be, 600, you're going to be in a calorie deficit. There's no way to eat enough during your race to maintain, that I've found at least. So give it maybe some people are hungry immediately afterwards, sometimes 6, 12, 24 hours later, but there'll be a point where you'll want to eat everything.
When you got 603 as far as mileage in one race, over the 6 days, you thinking 1,000? You're not thinking like that. Or tell me, don't tell me no. Tell me no. tell me you're not going to run 1,000 miles.
I will say the minute I hit 603, more goals just came in my mind.
You're hooked, man.
The distance, it's got me hooked.
Yeah, it's just like the distance. Just like, I think I can do 9. I think I can do 1,000. But you're going to try to get past 603.
Yeah. I will go back to another 6 day. I will get past 603. I hope.
Yeah, and have you talked about blisters earlier? Mm-hmm. Have you ever gotten any of those mean blisters that kind of just like, oof?
My feet stay pretty good. I've had a couple of races where I've had some good blisters, but for the most part, blisters have not been an issue for me.
What do you do for recovery? Like for your body and everything else like that? Because I know, like I used to think all of that stuff was just garbage. Like somebody would be like, oh, you need to get a sports massage or whatever. And I'd be like, yeah, all right, whatever. And then I had a good friend and I got one, and I was like, oh, this is great. I'm all about the recovery now, and the float tank, all those different things. What do you do for recovery?
I'm obsessed with that float tank. I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh,
that is one of my favorite places to go post race.
It's so weird how you lose track of time in there.
You do. You just fall asleep.
The first time I ever did the float tank, I remember thinking like, man, they're trying to rip me off because the music came on. I was like, that was 15 minutes. And I looked at my phone, it was an hour.
It goes by so quickly. And especially after a race when you're tired and you come in there and it's just the most you don't have to move, right?
Yeah.
You can just float.
Right, you're right. And that Epsom salt is so like, that was just this healing, it's just great. And other things you do for recovery, because that's a lot of stress on your body. That's strenuous, like running like that and, multiple days. Give me a typical day. You just ran 100-something miles. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do when you come home?
So I believe in active recovery too. So I'm going to go out active recovery. Okay. So I'll go out and I'll walk 3 miles or I'll go on a little jog because I think movement is medicine. Your
husband Joe ever say, just sit here. Just sit here with me. Stop moving. I don't want you to move. Does he?
Very much so.
So the active recovery you found that to be good?
I found it to be very good.
I have to try that because when I've pushed myself, I'm like done. I just want to just lay up somewhere and just forget that, I want to be one with time and just close my eyes. I got a good friend where a guy I actually played football with in college, and I tease him. We always call it teddy bear, like Teddy's coming to get you, put you to sleep, So I want time. I want Teddy to knock it out right then, I don't want to go out and do something active. So I got to try that.
And part of it's mental. Like you have to have a mental recovery too. So when I go out and I do a walk afterwards or whatever, I don't care what my pace is. I don't care how long I'm out there, honestly. Yeah. It's just movement, right? It's just getting outside, getting the blood flowing. That's most important.
And have you ever been so exhausted that you slept way longer than you needed to sleep, and you didn't even realize it? Felt like you just went to sleep. You still felt tired when you got up.
I definitely did that. I did that after this one. I did it on the plane on the way back. I'm surprised I got off the plane. I slept 10 hours. We had a 10-hour flight, and I was out the whole time.
They were looking, man, that lady, she doesn't want any soda. She don't want any water. She don't want anything.
She wants all 5
She wants to be left alone.
She's spread out. She is...
So did you slept most of the trip, huh?
I did. I slept most of the trip on the way back. And then it took, it's still
That's
taking,
awesome,
honestly,
man.
time.
That's fantastic, because you wake up, we're getting off the plane. I just got on the plane. No, it's been 15 hours,
Oh, there's nothing worse than being on a plane and not being able to sleep when it's a long flight, right? You can't do anything else.
So the race put you out.
It did.
The first day of that race, how is it as far as, you have 5 more days to go? Are you pretty tired? Do you wake up the next morning and I'm refreshed and I'm wired? Or do you wake up okay, let's get it?
So I had done a 6-day prior to this, and so I knew kind of what to expect, right? I really struggled on the second day, knowing how many days I had left to go.
Yeah, see, I would be struggling too. Man.
I was how am I gonna last through all of these days? Yeah. And I did on my first one, but I learned a lesson that it surprisingly gets easier as time goes on. It's harder in the beginning.
That's one of those ones you got to be there for. Because you're telling me that, and I'm going
Yeah, it's an experience. It's definitely an experience.
Would you recommend it, ultra marathoning, because you're not super short or nothing like that? That's why when you said you don't have any needs, it's just more like hips and stuff like that. Would you recommend somebody, if they could do it, to try it?
If they're interested in it, you got to follow your passion, I think. Yeah. And for me, running is my passion, and distance, seeing how far I can go. You
said you started at 29 years old. So when you were growing up, you never looked at running and thought I love running. I want to run. It's just something that it just came on late.
Yeah, it came on late. I had tried track. I had tried track in my junior high. Wasn't really passionate about it. Was really focused on basketball and volleyball and dance, and really focused on that instead. Running wasn't one of those things that I was interested in until I got older.
Well, I know we're running short on time here, but I wanted to ask you, when you suggest running to your friends, are they scared? You're just your regular friends, not the ultramarathoners. Are they no, we'll do something else?
I get that quite a bit.
I definitely.
Yeah, I get that.
If you asked me to go running, I'd be intimidated by it. I'd be no, I got all the stuff to do today.
But I remember where I started. I started not being able to run a mile. I would walk for a mile, and that's where I started. We all start somewhere.
Megan, thank you for your time. Megan Eckert here, ultra marathoner, world record holder. If you see her and she says, "Let's go running," give that one some thought. Fernando Perez behind the controls. We'll see you next time.